She says she raised the question of removing Peter and requested a legal planning meeting, but major decisions were made by multi-agency conferences, not by her. And the list of professionals who failed baby P is long. The police abuse investigation went nowhere. Haringey sent the mother to parenting classes when she told the staff she was pregnant a month before Peter died. No one seems to have asked about the father or told social workers. And at the beginning of August, a paediatrician, Dr. Seba Al-Zayat, misses the last chance to save him. She doesn't spot his broken ribs. She may even have missed a broken back. At some point, the following day, he's hit in the mouth so hard he swallows a tooth. The next morning, here in this room, Peter is found in his cot, dead. But he could have been saved if someone had spotted the abuser in the house. So how many times was the boyfriend missed? The grandma mentioned him. His Christian name is on the minutes of the first case conference. Peter's father told social workers he thought there was a boyfriend. A childminder sees him when Peter is dropped off. And then there's the video. After Peter's death, his mother and her boyfriend are arrested. A murder investigation starts. After such a tragedy, you'd expect that everyone would now want to find out the whole story. Detectives asked Haringey for all the information they had on the family. The police say even then they were told nothing about the existence of the video.
Of course it should have been handed over. It was entirely relevant. And in fact, you know, I'm for once in my life almost speechless here. It seems such a natural course that they would take, not only for the individual who made that video, but of course for Haringey Council. They knew that the research was going on. Why on earth didn't they say, here we are, we've got this extra material that will be relevant? Again, we should be talking about this little boy and finding out what happened to him now.
Mrs. Gilmore maintains details about the interview were recorded. Haringey says it was unaware of the video until this February, and that responsibility for what went to detectives lies with former Director of Children's Services, Sharon Shoesmith, and her deputy, Cecilia Hitchin. Mrs. Shoesmith says she can't comment on the video, but advised by a barrister, everything was disclosed, with only documents with public interest immunity withheld. Cecilia Hitchin has refused to comment. However uncomfortable, the professionals involved need to learn from such a tragedy. That's why a serious case review is held to look at how the child's case was handled. Panorama can reveal the authors of that first report were also told nothing about the pilot scheme, the study, or the video. Professor Eileen Munro has conducted serious case reviews. What happens if the serious case review is told nothing about this?
They give a false investigation into what went wrong. They can't possibly have an accurate idea if they're not told some of the most basic information.
Can we draw any conclusions from this about the system within Haringey and how it was working?
Well, it seems to have been not communicating well within itself because parts of it didn't know what other parts were doing.
Haringey Council now says solution-focused therapy was not appropriate in this case. In future, new approaches like this will be considered by an ethics committee. Mrs. Gilmore has told us she didn't complete the course and didn't meet Peter. Her coursework was destroyed before he died, as it contained confidential information. She says she told detectives about the interview with the mother in January 2008. The police say they weren't told about the video itself, or that it mentioned the boyfriend, so it wasn't part of the evidence in the murder trial. All contact with the family should be noted on a child's electronic file. Mrs. Gilmore's note about the interview was on it, but Panorama can reveal it wasn't on the file printout given to police. Haringey admits serious failings. It says improved management will reduce the risk of further failures to capture and disclose information, and they've made fundamental changes to child protection, but questions remain.
If people were manipulating information, or if they were denying information going to the independent scrutineers, that would be totally unprofessional, totally wrong, and I would want to see action immediately locally, and I'd demand action myself.
And are serious failings widespread around the country? The Secretary of State insists Haringey is one of just a few bad apples in the child protection barrel.
Well, we saw after the Baby P trial finished the detail of the serious case review. I was sufficiently concerned at that point to send in the inspectors. They did a very thorough report, and they came back with a report which was devastating about leadership, about management, about practice, and that's why I had to act. The fact is that in over 100 areas of the country, we have reports from Ofsted which have been good or outstanding.
So, according to the Minister, most parts of the country are good at protecting our children. But can he trust the judgments made by Ofsted, the inspectors who monitor child protection? Currently, just 8 authorities, including Haringey, are failing. But each week, 1 or 2 children, like Peter, die at the hands of a parent or carer. We've looked at hundreds of serious case reviews into such deaths, and how the inspectors rate an authority doesn't seem to say much about how a child is protected.
The evidence is that children die as often in failing authorities as in really good authorities. So whatever's going on that affects a child's risk of being killed is not at the moment being measured